See the competition basically.
Is he coming?
He's there.
Yeah, I'm stupid, I didn't notice. Of course, this is battery operated. Do they last all day? Or?
No, I have loads of
So you have to be careful.
you just have to do lots of stuff.
Yes. Wrong colour, darling. Wrong. It's not pink. Oh, maybe it is mine then. It is mine.
Neve, can I annoy you with a technical question?
Yeah.
What's the, in millimetres, traditional photography, what's the zoom on this thing?
Well, I have a zoom. I'm on 4.4 at the moment. I can go to 1.9 and then up to f11, but I don't do that.
Because you lose light.
Yeah.
Graininess?
Yeah, it's called diffraction, so it gets all the wavy at the bottom. So we tend to stay.
And is this for standard broadcast or HD?
Yeah.
Or?
In the standard broadcast, we tend to stay at 4.4 this, 4.5. Yeah. So you can see all the. Yeah, that's peaking. That's called peaking. So that shows me I'm in focus. So that's really helpful. So it shows when I'm in focus. No. That's called peaking. So you've got peaking and zebras as well. Just to give you, to try and get the balance correct. So, and then you've got all the different things in that all around. So that's face focus. That's just my card. That says I'm in steady shot. Means that's my f-stop.
A lens stabilization.
Yeah, I've got an ND filter of 23 on, so my ND filter is variable, so I can change that to change the shot, to stop recording. Yeah, this is my sound here. And that's my battery life, 363 at the moment. Yeah. And I'm on stand. You do. It's quite
But how does this get to
straightforward.
broadcast?
They're like, okay, since they're doing all the
Can we crack it open?
I think they're probably amused. Yeah.
you get is a beautiful house that's saying judge
And then do you tell them?
no, what you're supposed to do is I'm supposed to take a picture, send it to the court, saying now the life injunction and if you don't
You probably should mention that to your brother. You should get someone else to so he
you know what his real plan is? His real plan is when I talk about my dad.
yeah.
His real plan is to get out. He's basically sell the house without consulting me or my daughter, and then leave to go live in Dubai, age 81, and spend all the money on house. After 55 years of marriage. Why alienate me? Why alienate his only granddaughter? Why would you want to go and So it doesn't make any sense. That's the problem. If the judge says, Mr. Crosby, what's the source of this? That's good.
You don't.
I'm not in his life.
No.
So all day means to 4 because it goes
Well,
at 4.
yeah, so Rachel goes in and touches himself and then I'll just
So it's a job of
But-
patience.
yeah.
And you get a high when suddenly the action's Have you ever had the lens?
Don't.
No, but
No. So I usually have second. No, it's great. I've worked.
what are you doing? No, I think it's exciting. It's like
No, it's fun when everybody turns
movie
up.
business, news business, and also you're moving to live stuff.
No, it's fun.
So if when Trump comes for his royal visit, you're going. Yeah, probably.
Have you seen The Man with the Paytone? It's very good. The Man with the Paytone. It's a man with he's usually outside Downing Street, but he's a painting of Donald Trump. Yeah. Oh yeah. So you see people start queuing up. They'll be waiting.
It's quite, I would never have thought that my president would go. It's insane. It's like deja vu. It's deja vu. We lived in 2016, except he's worse now. Who thought that tariffs would be? Didn't he say he's going to give 100% and then China were going to say it's going to be 100%? The problem is all of America's, he's such a child, but all of America's manufacturing is in China. So the Chinese have got the upper hand. Like every iPhone is all manufactured in China.
I think
You don't want to pick a fight. He started attacking them. Did you hear that he said that Trump's tariff advisor, P.T. Navarro, who was a bloody disaster in the previous Trump let's do something that would be thick as a biscuit or something. Trump likes him, she's sick of him.
Yes.
I love what Elon once said, what are they going to try and tap me with? Money? Will they try and find me?
Well, these things are lifted up on them.
Well, I will see you later, Neil.
Oh yes, well,
Thank
best
you.
of luck.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
If I don't come out with my piece of paper, it's
I
fail.
hope you get it.
That's true. We go now.
think so.
I'm aware when I've only ever seen it. Most of them I've ever seen. Did someone accidentally fall over?
There's a news camera. No, there'll be a big. There's the main court.
Yeah, no, just kind of just thinking.
So we'll go in there.
Just go across the road for a second.
Well, it's just
Imagine you're waiting on a blind date and he shows up in his bear. Oh my god, yes.
Thanks, Doug. Go on, let you. How you doing anyway, Paul? Yeah. 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 You what, sorry?
Hey, how you doing? You alright?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Steve should be there shortly.
I think he'll be being on the back. I think I said to him earlier. There'll be just a very small chance that he'll come on.
Hello. Hey, Steve. Yeah, we are outside the main entrance. So.
They won't tell us.
Okay. All right. We are right outside the main entrance. They say coming.
He was actually terrible once he gets out and he sort of
Oh, we are in the parking space over there. You want to go out?
and then he in the end when you came out, stop, stop. Come round now. No, and when he went outside, so I thought there was something in these projects or something like that. But
Is that right for you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to make
No, don't worry.
no one.
I allowed you in.
Is that right for you?
You get friend up with me.
Okay. Just give me a second.
I know exactly. I guess because the lens is so
I'm looking at it. Is that right for you? What? There? There? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. See, look at this.
You are welcome, Ben.
Harmony, yes.
You are welcome. He's lucky he's working for us.
He used to. The golden age. Yeah, luckily you're short.
Apart of that. Exactly.
Somehow we're still not
That's good. I mean, is this?
I guess he's going to be
All right, mate.
Where is the door? This one. Okay, it's fine.
you're literally the perfect time.
What?
You're literally the perfect
Yeah, exactly.
You're perfect actually. Can I put my coffee on your head?
You can if you want.
Okay, so do you think I should be in between those and seeing it out the car? Is it? I thought it was maybe worth just being a bit closer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I need to get him exactly coming out the car.
I'm freezing.
Right? I guess you are Spanish.
Fuck
You're
off.
used to it. You said that yesterday. You literally said that.
It's because of that. You think I'm joking, but it's true.
I'm just quoting you.
I don't know, but this is mine. I put it there because I don't have a space for more.
Unbelievable.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. It's Gregory here, calling from London. How are you? I'm fine. I'm on a ladder waiting for Prince Harry to arrive at court. I'm wondering, have you got a channel for me for the next hour or two that I could just go live on so we get him when he arrives?
It depends.
Fantastic. Okay, that's brilliant. I'll just go live when the time comes. If that's all right. I'll tell you what, I'll just click in a moment.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a ginger and I thought it was
We're not all the same.
all of the ginger people look the same, to be honest.
Oh, shit.
To be fair, how is he gonna go with that back? The white bag?
What do you mean?
Yesterday he came with the car.
Yeah.
And then, but there is a van there. Is there a space for a car?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think they parked between the posters.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going live now.
Pretty cold, man.
Now you are feeling it. So it's not because I'm Spanish. Yes, but there is a van like to go in. I'm not sure if he can pass like the car.
I've put the metadata in, let's just say Prince Harry.
Is that right?
Yeah, wonderful.
Oh, drugs, it's not.
No, it's not
Who knows
drugs.
what it's from there?
It's not drugs.
It could be if it's from drugs.
I don't do drugs. No.
Okay.
Bullshit. Can you imagine that? I don't even smoke anymore. I quit smoking. Yeah, but I don't
That's
smoke.
much better than smoking. Maybe.
Well, nothing is good. I'm not smoking.
It actually smells and tastes a bit nice.
Yeah, lovely, isn't it? Yes. And yes, and you can see the rest of it here. All the crews up on the ladders.
Classic.
Yeah, lovely, isn't it? Okay then, cool. Okay then, I'll stay live. For this. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.
You'll see a car.
What? It's not that bad. Ah, because of the length. I mean, it's fine, isn't it? Cinematic.
As I say, it's a cinema.
Cinema.
There we go, cinema.
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised it doesn't turn up more cars. It's up to security.
Oh, well, he's not avoiding those, he's
It's just got a bit.
You cannot call him Prince Harry.
He is really still Prince.
Is he?
I think he is.
I think you cannot call him Prince.
You can't because he's rich.
He's the Duchess of somewhere. Where is he? I'm not from here, okay?
You can't refer to him as
We call him Enrique in my country, okay?
Enrique?
What?
What, the president?
No, like we translate the name. So William is Guillermo and he is Enrique. When we speak about them,
I did Spanish assistants when they did that, and I was there like.
So why are you translating his name?
yeah, I don't understand why, but yeah. And Charles is Carlos.
Prince Carlos?
El Rey Carlos.
What?
I'm not joking, yeah. No, not even king. We say Rey. We don't call him even king.
Sorry. Thank you.
Exactly. Ooh, there you go. It's working.
I'll only do that once, don't worry.
This should be like tinier and we could be like jumping and filming from there. Doesn't look good with barriers, the shot.
How much are they in your shop?
Okay?
How much of...
A lot. No. There you go, lovely. It's like I'm on the jail.
You got F2 for me in your same day. Just have a tiny bit.
I don't know how that was.
I just want sun. I'm not asking for that much. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's been sunny for the past month.
Yeah, about 3 months.
This is the dangerous bit. Like, it's 21 degrees, shorts, and then I'm just sitting outside.
Well, not sure. You were not sure.
That's not shooting 21.
I think I've never on shorts on this country.
It's currently 7 shorts.
7 is cold.
Feels like 3.
Exactly.
Is this your...
Yeah. Yeah,
I
move,
think we only
please
have
do.
7
Yeah.
in like December or January in Spain.
Which part of Spain?
What?
Where in Spain?
Madrid. I mean, it's cold in
It's
winter.
cold, yeah.
Yeah, but not.
And rainy.
Yeah. When he was sunny like all of this month, was pouring in all of this way. I was like, fuck you. My mom was like, it doesn't stop raining.
Whatever's happening in the weather, it's hot.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday it was at 9:30, right?
Yeah. But apparently.
Yeah, at the other side.
Oh, no.
I mean, no, I was doing live.
Oh, fine. Sorry.
No problem.
Translates.
No problem. Oh, yeah.
I know my cousin's making theirs. My car got smashed in.
Oh, no.
He's not here. He didn't notice.
I did a subtle pan for you there. Master shot in your
But you are on shorts. Why you are on shorts? Why did you come? Then why did you come as if you are going running or something?
It's summer.
Is it?
It's summer, damn it.
It is sun here?
Once we enter pressure time, it's
Okay.
ever since I've worked in these, I assure you.
And then I'm gonna come back to Spain. You got banned, right? I hope so. You got banned? Like in summer? You got red? Yeah, right. See, no? You never get tan in your life? Oh, that's very sad. I went for 15 days on holidays and I'm tan already. We got another skin. Yeah, he's literally there inside already. No one has seen him. Can you imagine he goes through the main entrance today? Like,
I just got a text from my producer at the desk like, oh, probably card because I saw you at the front. You normally get on card. I'm like, no, shit, I've never been around the front. It's not me.
well, I mean, in 2023 or whenever he came the other time, he went through the main door.
He went to the front.
Yeah.
But now he's got all the security.
Oh, is that because you lost it in 2003? Yeah, that's what I mean. I know. But that's what I'm saying. You'll find out when you get it. That's my mother's world show. Send it to me. Should come with a right. I know.
sure there's a special law.
I might get a freedom pass or something.
I mean, he's not a royal anymore, but he's still rich, right?
Well,
Simon Holly Graham's ex-wife.
Oh, what?
Jane. She came up to me.
And this book, right?
he had a jab. She had 2 jabs. She had vouchers. $15 for the trial allowance.
You were texting me, weren't you?
They're sold out with the second special. They're sold out. $21 for preps, which is same as yeast, flour, sugar. That's it.
I really think a car cannot go through there, right? Through that little spot on the left, can go a car? So if we don't see that van moving, that he's not going to come, or what?
He definitely passed one nearest to us.
I mean, you think a van car can go there?
I wish I was Spanish.
Why?
I hate the weather.
Well, I live here, so
I know
what
why.
is the point? What's your point? It's even worse because probably you don't feel it as me.
No, basically.
I went to Spain on Christmas and my parents came to the airport and they were like, it's super cold here, and I arrived and it was so sunny at like 7-8 degrees like now here, and I was like, what is the cold then?
It's not even like as I went for the ski season in the Alps, it's been like 0, and you're like, oh, actually, you can hear it's 6 degrees, and it's like, it gets
But it's because of the yeah, I hate it. I don't think so why I hate everything from here. The food, the people. No.
Yeah, I was.
I know what
We were young,
There are people there.
and now Rick's realising. I've got something for she had a picture. And it was my mother. She's pretty good. She's very good. So that's so sweet. Your mother was my mother. I went from working on schools yeah, we did. Yeah. Things were just going a bit I love it, because there's only a few of us, there's only one to which one is. Yeah, it goes to Ukraine, to the US, Washington, politics stuff and everything. Yeah, it's a wicked game. It's quite interesting because it's very oh my god, you just feel that actually people are it's different to you don't have to think me I'm just really? I've got a wonderful park right there. And then the one's down the end. Yeah, the one down the end is which is strange because one person is doing that in 4 hours. No, it's I'm still pleased to get that though. Normally enough, everyone you'll be done. It's only 6. Yeah, we're going to.
That's a really good one. The photographer has a.
We did something. It's really obvious.
Like a rape or something. I don't know how to call that. Look, photographer here.
No.
He has a thing on the barriers. He can go in.
Well, I'm often such a long shot.
Yeah, maybe he's like... What happened? Oh, come on, come on.
Hopefully you will see that white belt shift.
I really just want
Someone's getting in about now.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just in time.
Perhaps we should get...
cost a fortune. Is that the one? £9 a juice or something?
Oh, I never get the juices. They're always too expensive.
Right. The coffee's okay?
Yeah, the coffee's fine.
Okay. I've never been. Just went in like it was all prices.
The juice is everywhere. No, the coffees are fine.
Why do you have this, dude? How he left? The van. That's what happens before a car, like the left side.
That'll probably move.
Yeah, but he's so chill. Is this guy?
I think it does a ski like this.
Yeah.
He's a Formula 1 driver now.
Yes.
But he needs more, like he needs to stay anyway there, right? No, not to park, like to go in. Like that's the only parking in town. Oh, is he? Oh. So maybe he had to, I don't know. Yeah.
I always calling them Freudian.
Yeah, okay.
I know, for many years I was trying to get somehow the last year Yes. Did it become broadcast? Yeah, they did, and then now they don't. Yeah. And then you go to school like right. I don't know if he was doing it at the time, but I think he ended up taking notes on the message. Now he works in Well, I was freelance most of And now, not even starting I came up to freelance last year. It's rare that feeling is tough. Yeah. To be honest, it's not so bad.
I always do that. It kind of just you know, it depends sometimes on just so that's
Oh my goodness.
How long have you been working at CNN?
What happened? I don't know. I really
I bet all the photographers, my phone is not photography.
Can you imagine? I'm not gonna run.
It's not higher than this.
He's going to roll out the car door and run up the steps.
For nearly like 5 hours.
I just started watching, I don't know if you got Apple TV.
Is it good or not?
I love it when they do it inside the station.
Well, this one, the episode I watched last night, it's the same episode where they've set up shot the sunset. Basically, everything that could possibly go wrong, that's they can do. You know, they've got this chance just to do it. Okay, there's the work of the committee.
Of course you can. Oi.
It's just teasing.
The blonde lady, she looks like the one with prison video. Did you see that? Did you watch it?
Is this your one that you do?
Yeah, give some more.
You can see it online. And it's like the one like
Yes.
hopefully we'll get those things.
Yeah, probably.
I'm the second. FTA. Yeah, let's hope. Well,
Get out.
You can press another thing.
What is that?
I've been living in a dark hole for 6 months. Anyway, it's entertaining, right? See ya.
It wasn't you. No, it was a younger. That's a make it worse.
Why is Typhoon there? The fuck?
says it's not.
She's in first floor.
She's good. She's kind of, she was, she kind of gave me number twice over the years before. She sees the position. I mean, he was good, but just had something. And you were talking, and then so they went for it. It's just frustrating. Especially when you're talking about Arsenal. Doing anything he says, he just knows that if he does that, he's going to get a reaction. That's what happens. Yeah, I've got what I said to Joe ask her a sensory number. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
I've never had this problem.
Really? It comes off the Thames. It's always chill. Just outside. Really? Step out the door. They give me a good deal.
71.88. Yes, that's the problem. This is
So I don't the sun from there now.
Yeah, we are gonna be like.
yeah, Jewish with the that's what I think.
All the sun.
It's much warmer up here, it's closer to the sun.
Don't know where man got that from.
My expectation was particularly 12.
He's still got
Half
time.
10 start, but he was here at 9:40. We had that. Yeah. We reckon he's got. Surely it's a ball race.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, he's away. Dad's out. Dad's away. He's on the Vino. Yeah. That's a judgment call. No, I would keep an eye out for the pool. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to chat to Sky. Actually, by that stage, Bruce will have to chat to Sky. If he doesn't get in by half time, well, if he doesn't get in by half 10, do we keep an eye out? Keep it going.
Yeah.
Bring my water down.
I think he also wants it. He wants Yeah, if he was there. Yeah, but like, I don't think he can come from because it's just open and
Exactly the cold.
I was quite surprised yesterday in the evening for these how many people gathered on the street to really run after him. Like not journalists, like from place to place, but just people who look at him from there, this point in front, and then as he started walking, they like ran down the streets to see him getting in the car, which I really don't think we should be getting it, to be honest.
Oh, 20, he's 1 year younger than me. Yeah, exactly. Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Starts at 10.
Hello. Hello. Oh, really? In the front? Yeah. The lady in the captain, yeah. But it's way to the right with them.
I went to university with Ellie.
I mean, I can do the tissue.
Yeah.
So good.
We did not talk.
Oh,
She really, Ellie was telling me.
Hi, Ellie.
You work with her?
Hi, Ellie.
She's out.
Oh, no.
She's working.
She's not going to go back in again.
Oh, no, I think I don't think I would have missed it.
No.
You were completely the opposite. People.
Yeah.
Somehow was there.
I love Ellie.
Is there many people up front?
She's like, I would say to us, I've never met anyone like you.
So you get the exclusive.
She'd be like,
fantastic. Okay then. Okay, I think we deserve coffee afterwards. Yeah, cool. Okay, well good luck. Okay, let me know if you, I'll let you know if anything happens here. Yeah. Okay, bye. The lawyer has gone in the front door.
I told you, you will see. I mean, with the van, I think that they can.
But I don't. The lawyer may have gone in the front door yesterday as well, because I
yeah.
didn't see her in any of the shots.
Oh, so maybe. I don't know what to do, to be honest. Yeah, but he didn't arrive yet. What, like, I got the spot. Listen to me, Femi. Wait a second. Maybe I could They would say we don't. Thank you. Thank you, Remy. Thank you. Thank you, my love. It's okay. They want you to move.
Okay, here she comes. She's getting ready for a selfie. Bring it quickly. Check it out.
It's the cold weather. Old man. This red one here. Bit of activity around here now.
been playing this back for like 2. £1.72 for 10 minutes. It's mad.
Wow. I'll give you a shout. I can see down there, yeah, but I'll shout you when it comes. You're right.
Sorry?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Sorry, man. That's all right. No, don't you worry. You're all right. Okay.
Show that one is there.
Yeah, I think so. She asked me yesterday.
Gates, right? Gates, right?
I'm waiting for the Russians to fire a missile. I'm waiting for this bit. I'll get one there. Here we go. It's the Harry alarm.
Natural sound, really.
Get the shot. The window open, funky, aren't they? Just for you, so much tighten up. Oh, you go.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Geezer. Right, lovely to see you. Right,
Give us a hug,
Bridget. See you, love you well. Keep well. See you later, bye. Right, let's fuck off. I don't know what's that message. It went. Yes, good. All right, he's here, got him. He did give us a wave. I got him from here on this number. Yeah, I got
So from here,
Oh, that's right. Okay, super.
yes. Good to hear you.
But it's not just that technical legal distinction, as it were. It is the very context that I've just described which distinguishes and renders applicable and unanalogous cases from those very different contexts. That's the third proposition.
You're going to tell us how they're inapplicable. In other words, which parts are inapplicable and which parts are applicable from immigration cases that have been cited on the other side.
My Lord, I am, and I'm going to come to that particularly when we come to consider good reason, what does it mean, how does it work, and all of that. But in terms of this exercise of interpretation...
No, I understand it's not here.
It's not here, but I will come back to it, I promise. The Munjaz line and all of that, I'll come to them, of course. Fourth proposition, in such a context, it isn't just, as it were, flexibility isn't just neutral. There are positive advantages in not having the terms of reference as rigid rules, but rather as guiding principles to be applied flexibly to the circumstances of particular cases. The prerequisites, to go back to the very basics, the prerequisites for considering inclusion within, as it were, those cases that Ravek considers are set out in Mr. Hipgrave's first statement at paragraph 25, supplemental bundle, page 85, all of which is confidential, so I don't...
But the problem slightly with that submission is that actually over time the terms of reference and the evaluation criteria have become more prescriptive, not less.
Well, my Lord, they may have become in certain respects more detailed. My submission is that they haven't become more prescriptive, if by that you mean they've gone closer to being rigid rules than being flexible guidance.
They do seem to have much more content as time progresses. We saw in 2008 there's one side of a sheet of paper written in rather mercurial language, and now there's pages and pages of things.
My Lord, none of that I deny. My submission is that it doesn't affect the essential nature of them.
Okay.
It simply provides more detail, not an alteration of nature.
Right.
My submission under this fourth main point is that each case does fall to be considered and should fall to be considered, both procedurally and substantively, on its merits, in accordance with the particular circumstances of the case. And there's nothing to support a case that bound Ravek through the terms of reference into either identical processes or still less identical outcomes in relation to particular fact patterns that might appear. There's no dispute on the evidence. I made the point clear yesterday. I confirm it. There's no dispute at all that, for example, RMB risk analysis is indeed the usual approach in the usual case, and that the role of RMB may be thoroughly important in the usual case. But there was nothing about the appellant's announcement in January of 2020 that he was to step back from his role in the royal family and live most of the time, at least, abroad, that was usual. It was, to use the Latin, I know we're not allowed to, but to use the Latin, it was inherently sui generis. In other words, it was a category of its own. It was a unique set of circumstances. That's the fourth proposition. The fifth proposition focuses on the particular... I do respectfully submit on the skeleton at least form the linchpin of the argument. In such a context, will, which is the word used in paragraph 20, as you'll recall, of the 2017 TOR, will, not maybe or can, does not even suggest that it was intended to create an obligation of some kind. You'll recall that in paragraph 20 of the 2017 TOR, the will word was all under the heading of key tasks. So it was simply describing a task or function, rather than being in the form of something that creates mandatory obligations. And the judge was right, we submit, at 162 of the judgment, to conclude that even at its highest, paragraph 20 could not be applied to all or any individuals who demanded protective security under the system, precisely because there were value-laden judgments as to who should be treated as falling within the RAVEC cohort, to what extent, if you do fall within, what is the most appropriate procedure, what is the most appropriate outcome in terms of protective security. So all the value judgments in question to be made as to whether a person fell within, and if so, what security should be provided, would in fact be informed by an RMB assessment. That's the question. Would it be informed by an RMB assessment in circumstances of the exceptionality of the appellant's case? And we submit it isn't appropriate to refer to RAVEC as it were exercising a jurisdiction in a strict sense. What it does is to simply make discretionary, value-laden judgments as to the appropriate and proportionate use of public funds to provide protective security to royals and VIPs where that's justified in the public interest. That's the essential nature. And so we submit that the judge was right to emphasise, as he did repeatedly, that the terms of reference require those value judgments to be made both procedurally and substantively. And it might be thought, all the more so, those points are all the more forceful given the description, accurate as we submit it to be, of the essential nature of the RMB process. Can I just invite you to go back to the judge's judgment at 229, paragraph 229. Starts at page 158. And his description of it, accepting a submission that I've made, is at the top of page 159. It is an analytical tool. Accordingly, given RAVEC concluded that a better tool was available in the form of the process described in the letter of the 28th of February, there was no procedural unfairness, and so on. But it is ultimately the RMB process, an analytical tool that informs, or may inform, those value judgments. And once that is evident, it's equally evident that whether the analytical tool is in fact useful and the most appropriate process to go down, and certainly in relation to any suggestion that it was intended as a matter of interpretation to be mandatory in all cases, becomes untenable. It's simply a tool in considering the issues as to whether someone should have protective security under RAVEC, and if so, in what form. And the question that has to be considered by the decision makers is whether or not that is the most appropriate way of doing things. Is that an analytical tool which they wish to reach for in the particular circumstances of the case? We note finally in relation to this fifth point that on the evidence it's perfectly clear that RAVEC did not in fact apply or operate the terms of reference as if they set a whole bunch of hard-edged rules, but did treat them as providing guidance to the sort of decision-making, the myriad different types of decision-making they'd have to make in relation to the cases which they had to consider. So that's what we say about interpretation. I turn then, if I may, to the second argument, and I'm going to take this in two parts. The first, the respondent's notice, and the second, the way in which the challenge is made on this appeal.
I mean, you, despite all that, which I understand, you accept, I think, that the proper interpretation of the terms of reference is that an RMB analysis will be done before a decision is taken. That's what it says.
In the usual run of cases, what we're arguing about on interpretation is whether that's an immutable rule that has to be followed in all cases, including this one.
Implied into it is in the usual run of cases.
Yeah. That's the sense of the interpretation. That's what divides the parties. My learned friend says, as a matter of interpretation, RAVEC has no option. It's bound by the wire on the cage. And we say it's more elastic than that and plainly intended to be so.
And do you say, as I think I put to Ms. Fatima, that your case was, well, this is not, this kind of exceptional case is not mentioned in the terms of reference.
Well, I do, and I made that point, I hope, clearly during the submissions. But it's a very important point for a variety of different reasons. From the perspective of interpretation and the debate that I've just described between the parties, it's important for this very specific reason, which is that it illustrates that they're not intended to cover all fact patterns going through the process. If they were intended to provide, as it were, a complete and hard-edged code, we couldn't do anything.
Yep, okay.
That's the point for interpretive purposes. I'll come back to the significance of it at other stages of the argument, but thank you for the reminder. I hope I've made that point clear. My Lords, I said that I was going to take the second argument in two parts. As you'll recall, the appellant's second appeal argument, as I described it yesterday, is that when considering the legal standard to be applied to the good reason to depart test, the judge was wrong to show respect, says the appellant, to the primary decision maker, to recognise that there was no statutory context and to place weight on that and to draw on the analogy with the Thameside duty. But essentially it's a submission that says wrong to accord respect to the expertise and experience and democratic accountability and so on of the primary decision maker. That's the appellant's case, but there are logically at this stage two different points, and the first logically is the respondent's notice point, which is if you get to this stage and you're looking at the reasons to depart and the wrong, whether there's good reason to depart and so on.
I don't want to be difficult or take you out of your course, but I do want to unburden myself of a thought.
Yes.
I know the court shouldn't have thoughts, but I've had one.
Better to unburden sooner rather than later, perhaps.
I'd probably say that we don't. I want to know what your submission is and Ms. Fatima's submission. It seems to me at the moment that it might be the case that we are asking the wrong question, because what I would suggest is that if there is, let's assume, a liability for this policy or failing to follow this policy, and that's obviously subject to everything we've said and its true meaning and so on, the question is whether the authority has failed to follow the policy as interpreted by the court without good reason, and that it might be said that the question is not to be split up in the way that both sides seem to want to split it up into two questions: whether the authority has failed to follow the policy as interpreted by the court, and secondly, whether there was in fact a good reason, which is what leads you to make your respondent's notice point about the second question. But if you ask the question, which seems to me to be actually the question, has the authority failed to follow the policy without a good reason, then that answers both sides of it, and you don't get into irrationality or not, because that has all the nuance that you need, because you will give whatever deference is due on a sliding scale depending on the kind of decision maker, and you'll look at the failure in the context of the interpretation by the court. And I was struggling with this in putting to Ms. Fatima yesterday that she was breaking this all down into too many boxes, and that public law is not about boxes. It's about seeing whether something has gone seriously wrong in the administration of government, and if it has, of course, there will be liability. But it's not about having some sort of flow chart of decision making where you ask question one, and if question one's yes, you go to question two and question three and question four, and you come out with an answer which may be totally illogical. And this business of breaking down good reason and failure to follow the policy into two separate watertight compartments, I balked at that. And I wondered what your submissions were about whether.
My Lord, I have, if I'm allowed to have sympathy with an intervention from the court, I have some sympathy with that. And of course you will appreciate.
I'm sure I need sympathy. So
yeah, no, but I have particular sympathy, if I'm still allowed to use that term. I have particular sympathy with the idea that public law is not about boxes, and it asks sensible questions in context with a view to seeing whether something has gone seriously wrong. So I don't mind that. The difficulty perhaps is that one does sometimes have to judge what it is at the very base level a policy means. And that does relatively frequently arise as a matter of public law. That's why the line of authority based in Raisi is set as it is. So you have to start with what the policy is requiring you to do on its face. That is a logically prior question. So although there may be some capacity to merge that principle recognised in public law.
I think you're missing my point.
Well, then I'm sorry.
I'm not suggesting that Raisi and what the policy is not a separate question.
Right.
What I'm suggesting is that when you come to compliance with the policy, the question is not just have you failed to comply with the policy, but have you failed to comply with it without a good reason.
Well, my Lord, I think we both agree that that is the right question.
Yes, but it's only one question.
And I think we both agree that it's only one question.
But then that's absolutely
But you
fine.
still have to answer. I'm afraid there is a but. I'm sorry to push back.
You don't say it's a rationality question, the failure to comply question.
I don't say that the failure to comply question is a rationality question. I say the judgment of whether or not there is good reason to depart if it means a particular thing.
And then you do break it down into two.
Then I do say that as a matter of public law, when you are assessing good reason, there is a straightforward choice, which is not an unfamiliar choice to public law, particularly when you take into account human rights cases, which is a particular issue for the court to determine for itself, or is the relevant issue an issue which is for the primary constitutional decision maker to take, subject only to public law control through rationality? That is a very well recognised question that arises across the sphere. I mean, to take the Human Rights Act example, my Lord will recall that at the heart of one of the issues, at least, in the Rwandan appeal, was that question as to whether or not the divisional court had got themselves in a bit of a muddle about what the nature of the approach was. And the muddling question was, had they decided, in effect, that they should be asking whether the Secretary of State was entitled to reach certain views which smacked of rationality, or was the correct approach, as my Lord and the Supreme Court ultimately found, that because this was a human rights issue, it was well established that this was a matter for the court to determine, ultimately, as the decision maker. And I do submit that that type of issue does arise here and hasn't yet been determined. In other words, when you're assessing the good reason, may ultimately be a very, very fine dividing line, because we say that even if it's good reason for the court, there's still a question about how the court goes about doing that, and respect is integral to the how question. So there may be a very fine line between these two, but at least in principle there is a distinction between an approach that says good reason is a matter of rational judgment for the Secretary of State, on the one hand, and good reason is a matter of objective decision-making for the court, and we would add brackets, applying the correct approach to that question, which involves according proper respect if there is expertise in play. So that's why I've divided it in this way. My Lord, can I mull on that as I make the submissions? I ought to give you the submissions anyway. So
yes, no, give me the submissions. I think a bit of mulling is due, because to accept that you ask the question in an incomplete question, which is have you failed to comply with the policy,
does risk muddling everything up.
Yes, because actually the whole thing is to do the deference question is on a scale.
Yeah,
depends on what
context bit you're talking about.
Yes,
no, I see that.
And you can't really answer have you failed to comply, because you say at one end of the spectrum, well, they didn't really fail to comply because the policy may have said you should have an RMB, but it didn't address this type of case. At the other end, they say this is a black line policy.
Yeah.
You have to, but you can't answer the question of who's right without considering
who's applying it and what deference
who's applying
to give
it and what deference you give,
Yes.
and who understands the policy and all the stuff. And so, in the end, if you put it into watertight boxes, you are prone, I think, in public law to get the wrong answer. Now, everybody, that's at the moment where I am, and I'm not sure it benefits either side. Actually, I think it's just a better way of looking at it. I think it's a better analytical approach. That's what I'm putting to you, and
my lord, yes.
If I'm wrong, of course I'll be correct.
No, my lord, you're not getting, as it were, total pushback. I just wanted to
take time to
see if there were facets that needed to be thought about.
Because I don't, this is an important case. We don't want to get it wrong.
No.
And we don't want to knee-jerk. It's, it's something where it does actually raise. The only point which is new, the rest of it is factual, perhaps, and normal public law, but this is a new point, I think. Yeah. The question of the test to good reason. Only Lady Hale had something to say about that in the Court of Appeal, and she wasn't upheld in the Supreme Court.
Yeah. My lord, yes. But listen, I'll
okay, on you go, I'll shut up.
Can I, for the moment, as it were, because that's how I've structured the submissions, as it were, with recognition that the issues may bleed, you may need a composite approach, it may at least help to have the way in which the arguments, if you did split it out, worked before you, so you can see whether there is, and if so, to what extent that overlap.
I'm not going to do what some judges do, which is think their idea is the only idea in town. You carry on, make your submissions as you planned, and just have a think and give me your considered view at the end of it.
Thank you. Thank you. So on the respondent's notice point, if we're there, if this is the right way of looking at it, if it requires a separate analysis, we submit that this is a question, whether there's good reason to depart, is a question for the rational judgment of the authority here exercising its prerogative